What's up, guys? Shamslim. And a little while ago, I asked you to give me your questions because I wanted to do a Q&A session when I hit 500 subs. Amazingly, I have hit 500 subs. At the time of recording this, I'm on 508, I do believe. So thank you ever so much to everyone that has commented, that has shared, that has retweeted my junk on Twitter and got me here. Really appreciate it. And of course, hello to all my new subs, and I love you to all my old subs. A few of you have given me questions. There's not tons, but there's some, and I said I was going to answer them. I'm using the app, and not all of them turn up, so I'm answering the ones that are in front of me. If I don't answer your questions, I'm so sorry, but blame the YouTube app. Let's get on with it, because it's going to take a little while. Nathan Lord, hello mate. Question 1, are frogs both cartoon and real overly sexual in today's culture? And if so, what do you think we can do to combat this or expand it to, let's say, a level where we can be sufficiently turned on by them? I don't think frogs are sexual enough. And I think to improve that, tiny frog bikinis. Question 2 by Nathan Lord. This is just, when you play a video game and you check your friends list and see someone on there playing a video game, do you sometimes wonder what you can do to make them cry? Kind of. I used to compare games with people, and I'd have to beat them to try and pee them off. There was a guy, I can't even remember his name, I never even talked to him, I don't know how we were friends. I think we played a Gears of War co-op at some point, or some levels, and he was always getting better game scores than me, so I had to beat him, and I knew it peed him off, so I kept doing it. And of course now we have the leaderboards on Xbox One. Yeah, there are some times when I think I'm going to play this just to get some game score to beat you, but no, I don't think to make them cry. Rob M, Bobaloba, hello mate. Do you have a holy grail game for the SNES, or one that far exceeds your £10 budget or simply cannot be found? Yes, yes and yes. I'm desperate for the Mega Man games on my SNES. Mega Man 7, X, X2 and X3. And I'm just going to clear that. A little message popped up on my screen. Very professional. Sunset Riders. Sunset Riders I had as a kid, and I absolutely loved it. I played that with my mate Chris for hours and hours, and I desperately want that back. It's not super rare, it's not super expensive, but it's selling for about £80 to £120, which is ridiculous. Metroid is another one, the big box version, that goes for far too much money than it should. But the one that simply cannot be found for me is a game called The Firemen. The Firemen was a SNES game. I don't even remember it. I know nothing of this game, but it's incredibly rare. I found on eBay a German version, and even that was going for about 120 quid, and that was a cartridge only. I've never seen a PAL English version of The Firemen. Starlac. Congrats on reaching the milestone. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your support, all your lovely comments on Twitter and my YouTube. Two versions of the same question. Is there a game you loved, loathed as a child, but grew to hate like as an adult? If so, what game, and what changed in the relationship between you and it? Answering either would be fine. Not so much, because games I loathed as a child, I just never really went back to. There's not many I can think of that I went back to later and loved. There's a few that... See, the way a lot of people think, because of my gamer score on Xbox One, I have 1 million games. I don't. I think I have, at the moment, 4, maybe 5. I play a game as quick as I can on release, as soon as it comes out. I get all the achievements I can, and I sell it for cash. This gets me the most amount of money back. I buy the games online, I sell them for cash in the high street, and generally I spend between £5 and £8 on a brand new game. That's the cheapest way for me to continue gaming. So I don't really have a lot of games that I keep and go back to later. Obviously now I've started collecting my SNES, well, 18 months, 2 years ago. I'm playing games again that I haven't in a long while. Kid Clown and Crazy Chase was a shambles plays, a game I remember seeing in the shops and thinking, what is the point of this game? It looks awful. And I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant fun. Smash Tennis was another one I did very recently, this week in fact, and I loved playing that as well. That was amazing fun, even though I was terrible at it as always. The only one I used to love, I loved GoldenEye. GoldenEye still rates in my top 10 games of all time. I played it a couple of years ago, and I wish I hadn't. While the gameplay remained as I remembered it, we've become so spoilt with twin thumbsticks on controllers that using the N64 Trident controller was just horrible. It was a mess. and I hated the controls, and I wish I hadn't gone back to it. So I guess that's my answer, GoldenEye. Rob M, Bobaloba, hello mate. Who would win in a fight between the dude in Root Beer Tapper and Paperboy? I'm going for the Root Beer Tapper guy because he's a guy, and he's got the agility, he's got the upper arm strength. And being hit by a beer glass or bottle would hurt a lot more than being hit by a newspaper. So Root Beer Tapper guy in a fight. Nathan, what do you think drives achievement trophy hunters? Gahaha, I thought it was going to be another weird question, but it's not. Silly knees. Nathan, I love your face. Right, well, for me, for what drives achievement hunters, I didn't really pay much attention to them. The first game I had was Quake on the 360, and I got about 100G on it. I paid no attention. But what got me was that the achievements, once I started looking into them, made me play games differently. Before, I used to play games on easy, get rid of them, and get a new game. Game stores over here in the UK used to do a thing where you could return a game after 10 days, money back guarantee, no questions asked. So I used to get a game, play it for 10 days, and I'd trade it in and get another game. I used to play games for free. So I used to just get rid of games as soon as I could. But with the 360, once I started looking at the achievements, they started making me play games on normal and hard and expert and finding all the collectibles, which I certainly never would have done. And I really liked that to start off with. I then, very shortly into my Xbox Live experience, my second friend I added was a gentleman called Awesomejedi, who you've seen on my videos and probably seen me talk to on Twitter and Lee's comments. And he's a great friend. We've met many times in real life. He's got a lovely family, and we got in a race to 50,000 gamer score, and then we got in another race after that to 100,000 gamer score, which I won both. And that nearly killed me because I was playing games I hated, I was grinding out achievements that I didn't like, and I was working like 43, 44 hours a week, and then having a family, and then I played till 4 AM in the morning every night for 5, 6 nights a week, trying to get achievements. That's all it was. But what drives me now is the leaderboard on Xbox One. If you don't have an Xbox One, you have a leaderboard that says who's got the most gamer score every month. I used to always have to be top. I'm now permanently 4th or 5th on my list. But as long as I'm on that list, I'm happy. But what drives us achievement hunters? It's all ego. It's all bragging rights. It's all, I got the most gamer score this month. I've done this game the most. I'm the best. I'll be honest with you, it's ego. I got an Xbox One out of it though. When the Xbox One launched, Microsoft did this giveaway and you had to have certain criteria. And because I'd been an active member in the community and I did stuff on websites for Xbox, I was entered, and then my gamer score got me through to the final section, and then I was one of 5 people in the whole world to get a free Xbox One on launch. So there we go. It does pay. Cheesecake or cheese and biscuits? I don't like a lot of cheese. I'm very boring. I like kind of Edam, cheddar, and red Leicester. That's about it. And it's mostly cheddar, cheddar, cheddar. I do enjoy a cheesecake, but cheese biscuits I can eat whenever. And they're handy because if you get the cheese on them already, you can just eat them while you go. So I'm going for cheese biscuits. Cheese and biscuits. GameBoyle. Congrats, buddy. GameBoyle, awesome guy, does really cool Game Boy stuff. Check him out on YouTube. The obvious question for myself, what's your favourite handheld and games you recommend on it? At the moment, the Vita and Don't Starve. Ever the original Game Boy. If you're getting one now, get the SP because obviously it's got the colour, the backlit screen. Games I recommend on the original Game Boy are pretty simple actually. Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, and Wario Land. They are the 4 most amazing games ever. So get them. MyGamerXP, Matt, thank you so much. Congrats on almost 500 subs, and thank you for the shout out. Of course, bud. I love Matt. Matt is kind of my retro gaming brother. He does mostly, I mean, he's going to spread out, but he mostly does Mega Drive at the moment, which is awesome. Really nice guy. Please check him out. His videos are so much better than mine as well. My question, if you were stranded on a desert island with only 3 games, which ones would you choose? Now, I assume this is me on my own, because obviously playing 2-player would be very different. Probably be stuff like Gauntlet 2, Bomberman, and probably, if it was with Chris, my old mate, Pez, Pro Evolution Soccer. No, International Superstar Soccer 64. Fanny. It was a player, Rod Fanny. Fanny. Now, on my own, I would go for Minecraft because I can spend hours on that anyway. Final Fantasy 7. No, Final Fantasy 10 because I'm playing that on my Vita and I love the HD remaster and I want to continue playing that. So Final Fantasy 10 and one other. I don't know if I could. Super Mario World on the SNES. Super Mario World was my first game on the SNES and I loved it. I remember setting it up in the lounge and my dad couldn't believe I was controlling the little man. What do you mean you're controlling the man? And I remember saying to him, graphics will never get better than this. And I don't think they did in 2D. Awesomejedi, there he is, you sexy beast. I have a question for your Q&A session. If you had your own game studio and money was not an object, what type of game would you create for next-gen consoles and what would make it different from what's already out there? XXXXX, keep up the good work. Thank you, my old friend. And I mean that in both senses. You're both a dear friend and the oldest man I've ever known on Xbox Live, which was what an American kid said to him once, and I nearly cried. Honestly, I don't know. If I had my own game studio, I would start off just making games that, probably from my childhood, with a twist. But there would be first-person shooters with big guns blowing up. I'd like to see a new football game. I'm fed up with FIFA coming out every year. It's the same game for the past 5-6 years. Only thing that's changed is Ultimate Team, and that is such a con. What a cash cow. When I worked in game, wow, all we sold was Microsoft points for kids to buy Ultimate Team packs. Couldn't believe it. Honestly, I don't know. At the moment, the way things are going are the big, massively multiplayer online games, your DayZs, your Ark, Survival Evolved, Minecraft, obviously. I genuinely don't know. I'd need a lot of help. I'd have to have the very best of the best advising me. Again, with first-person shooters, they seem to go around in a loop. We have World War II, futuristic, World War II, futuristic, dash, don't dash, sliding, no sliding, sliding, no sliding. They just go around in loops, so I don't know what you do to keep it fresh. It's a tough one. You know, obviously, the more games that come out, the more saturated the market becomes. I mean, look at the Wii. The original Wii just had a billion versions of the same tat and then a couple of gems. So it is tricky. I genuinely, I'm sorry I haven't answered your question, mate, but I really don't know what I'd do. That's a really good question, and I haven't thought about it enough. So, sorry, I don't know. leejwesty, Lee, you sexy beast. You say you've owned mostly all the consoles apart from PS4. Without starting a console war, is there a reason why? Yes. For those of you that just watch my YouTube and think I only play SNES and Xbox One, I really don't. I started off back in the day. My brother had a Commodore 64, an Amiga A500 Plus, and Atari ST. I had a ZX Spectrum, but I don't really remember that. We then had NES, SNES. I've had N64, Mega Drive 2, Saturn's, Dreamcast, Jaguar, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I can't even think what I've had now. Game Boy, Game Boy SP, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, 3DS XL, PSP, Vita. I've had tons. I mean, I've played a lot of games. I think PlayStation 1, I played something like 80% of the catalogue that they had, and that was thousands of games. I have been a gamer since I was 4. Looking at 29 years I've been gaming now. And when I got my PSP, I was massively disappointed. It wasn't up there with Nintendo's console. The games were cack. The only reason I kept it was because I could put films on it, on the memory card. And when we went on holiday, I could watch films on the plane. That's all I remember doing with it. And the main thing, I hated that cross menu, whatever. I can't remember what it's called. It's called a certain thing. So I'd already had my 360 for a while. And I was working in game, and we were going under at the time, and we didn't know what was going on. So I spent all my points, all my trading, and I got a PS3. And I got it home, and I hated it. I was so disappointed. I wanted to love it desperately. It took forever to install games. It took forever. Everything had a patch that took forever and ever. I couldn't talk to my friends. What? How did you put up with that, PS3 players? You couldn't party chat and then be playing different games or in different lobbies, or the online was horrific, absolutely horrific. I had God of War 3 that I loved, but I played that and I was done. And then I had that moto driver thing. I can't remember what it's called, the exclusive one. We drove around on the all different trucks and bikes. Looked cool, but it was okay. And other than that, I just was so unimpressed with the PS3, and I got rid of it. I made a nice profit on it, but I got rid of it. And the PS4 has come along, and I'll be honest with you, money's a little bit tighter at the moment, and I can't afford to buy loads of consoles. Oh, I've had a Wii and a Wii U. I forgot to mention that, and I sold the Wii U as well. And I'll be honest with you, on the PS4, there aren't enough exclusives that I like. All my friends have Xbox One that I game with regularly. There are some lovely people, and a lot of you say, come and get a PS4 and play with us, and I would, but I'd miss my gamer score. It's something I've worked very, very hard on, and I am proud of it. I know that's a really geeky, sad thing to say. And that's it, really. There's not enough exclusives, my friends, and my gamer score. Genuinely. What does my head in is, if there are good PS4 games that are exclusive, whether they're little marketplace arcade games or whether they're full retail, come and tell me. Just like, hey Shambles, I'm playing this game, it's really cool, check it out, I've put a video up, here's some photos, and I go, wow, awesome. I watch quite a few Twitch streams, and I watch, Bloodborne, played by Mark Walsh. I've watched him many a time. I'm not anti-PS4 at all, it's just, for me, it doesn't do anything. What does my head in is when I get people coming out to me going, well, we've got this game, so in your face. I'm like, and? That doesn't make me a loser, it doesn't make me a bad person because you're playing a game I haven't got. I don't want that game. Otherwise, I go and buy a PS4. I'm really not anti-Sony. I'm not anti-PlayStation. It's just, for me, at the moment, the Xbox One is meeting all my needs. So why get another console? Good question, though. And the last question from my good old buddy Lee again. Is it socially acceptable to finger your own bum, or a stranger's, in public and then wave your finger about asking people to smell it? Is it socially acceptable? No. Should it be? No. Because I have children, you have children, you know how much their fingers smell, and you don't know where they've been. If they've been up the bum, for sure, I'm not smelling it. But Lee, if you'd like me to smell your finger, I will, my friend. And that's it. That's all the questions I've got. There may be more, but this is all the app has given me. I know the app is useless, but, it saves me having to lug a desktop computer in here. So thank you ever so much. Can you please all give me some feedback on my channel? That's the one thing I crave the most. I'm still doing SNES and Xbox One. If you like that, let me know. If you want me to do more of one and less of the other, let me know. If you think I should drop one or entirely, then fine. What kind of things do you want to see on the channel? I don't know. I think the format at the moment is working. Word is getting around. The channel is growing. I am off at the moment. I'm in between jobs. I've got another 2.5 weeks before I start my new job. So I'm trying to jam in as much gaming as I can at the moment. I'm finally clearing my pile of shame, which is leading to a couple of cool videos, which is nice. But yeah, so thank you so much for viewing this, for commenting on all my videos, for sharing, for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Keep watching. Thank you to all my new subs. I really do appreciate you as well. Plenty of more content coming in the near future. Thank you ever so much for watching. Till next time.